In the silent corridors of the Ashford mansion, sleep had become a luxury no one could afford, especially not Alexander Ashford, a billionaire whose wealth could buy islands but not peace for his newborn twins, Noah and Eli, who had cried every night since the day they were born, their wails echoing through marble halls and breaking something deeper inside a man already shattered by loss, because their mother, Alexander's wife, the love of his life, had died during childbirth, leaving behind two fragile lives and a father drowning in guilt, grief, and exhaustion. And no matter how many world-class nannies, pediatric specialists, sleep therapists, or caregivers money brought to the mansion, nothing worked. The twins rejected everyone, screaming until their tiny faces turned red, refusing to sleep unless Alexander himself held them, which meant the billionaire CEO ran a global empire by day and walked the halls like a ghost by night, cradling two crying infants, until one evening a new maid arrived. Her name was Anaya, quiet, modest, dressed simply, with eyes that held a strange mix of sorrow and calm, and no one expected anything from her beyond cleaning and keeping to herself, least of all Alexander, who barely noticed her existence until the night everything changed, because on that night, after another caregiver quit in tears, Anaya was mopping the hallway outside the nursery when she heard the twins crying. Not the usual hunger cry or discomfort cry, but a deep, aching cry that made her chest tighten, a sound she knew too well, and without asking permission, without announcing herself, she did something no one dared to do before. She stepped into the nursery. Alexander noticed too late, ready to shout, ready to fire her on the spot, but something stopped him, because Anaya didn't rush, didn't panic, didn't try to force silence. She simply sat on the floor beside the crib, placed her palm gently on the mattress, and began humming a low, trembling lullaby, not polished, not perfect, but painfully real, a song soaked in loss. And as the melody filled the room, something unbelievable happened. The crying softened, then slowed, then stopped. Noah's tiny fingers curled, Eli's chest rose and fell evenly, and within minutes, both twins were asleep, deeply, peacefully, the kind of sleep they had never known. Alexander stood frozen in the doorway, his breath caught in his throat, his mind refusing to accept what his eyes were seeing, because nothing and no one had ever calmed them like this. And yet here was a maid, sitting on the floor, tears silently streaming down her face as she continued to hum. When Alexander finally spoke, his voice broke, demanding how she did it, and Anaya, startled, apologized immediately, expecting punishment, but instead she told the truth, a truth she had never planned to share, that she had once been a mother too, that years ago she had lost her own newborn twins in a fire caused by faulty wiring in a home she cleaned for a living, that the lullaby she sang was the last song her babies ever heard, and that sometimes, babies don't need hands or toys or techniques, they need someone who understands their pain. The room fell into a heavy silence, and for the first time since his wife's death, Alexander cried, not quietly, not politely, but like a man whose soul had finally cracked open. And from that night on, everything changed. Anaya was asked, not ordered, to stay near the twins at night, and every night she did the same unthinkable thing. She slept on the floor beside their crib, refusing the guest room, refusing extra pay, saying only that she wanted the twins to feel they weren't alone. And the twins slept, night after night, deeper and longer. Their health improved, their smiles appeared, and slowly, so did Alexander's. He began sitting with Anaya, listening to her stories, learning that kindness had cost her everything, yet she still gave it freely, and in her presence, the mansion stopped feeling like a monument to loss and started feeling like a home, until one evening Alexander found Anaya packing her bag, revealing she planned to leave because she believed she was getting too attached, because love, she said, was dangerous, it leaves scars that never heal. But Alexander did the one thing no one expected from a billionaire known for control and pride. He begged her to stay, not as a maid, not as an employee, but as family, offering her a place in the twins' lives forever, because she had done what no amount of money could. She had healed them by daring to love them when it hurt the most. And as the twins slept peacefully between them that night, Alexander realized the unthinkable truth, that sometimes the greatest miracle doesn't come from wealth or power, but from a broken heart brave enough to love again. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because every story here carries a message, a lesson, and an emotion that might just change the way you see the world.